Hey up everybody and welcome back. So it's Tuesday afternoon. I went in yesterday, had my procedure. So the stone was still stuck there, so he took the stone out, he took the tube out, but he put another one in. I think he mentioned that to me. And I go back next Tuesday to get that one taken out, and that's everything done. But I just go to his office for that. So I said to him, well, what about the anaesthetic? He said, there's no anaesthetic. So I looked at him and I said, I don't like the sound of that. He said, oh, don't worry, it's not as bad as it sounds. So anyway, I got the email about it today, and I'm only scheduled for a 30-minute visit. So I guess he's just going to, I don't know, poke something in and pull that out and we're done. Still not looking forward to it. So anyway, everything went well. I was there about, I don't know, 6 hours in total. But there was, like, you know, time before, an hour or so I think for the procedure, and then time for me to wake up. So one thing was, I don't know whether, well, I know people here are wimpy about medical things, but you know, they said there would be some pain, sort of said kidney pain, back pain for a few days. And actually the worst bit is, of course, he's there, he had to go in, get the tube out, pull it out, go back in and get the kidney stone, get that out, and then go back in to put the new tube. So it makes you a little tender in certain areas, and peeing last night was no fun. But anyway, what was I saying? So anyway, they did it, it was all fine, all done. I feel great. Oh yeah, I know what I was saying. So he gave me some stuff like an antibiotic that you take to stop you from getting an infection. And he gave me some stuff that sort of does away with irritation. Again, just a couple of days worth of pills for them, each of them. But for the painkiller, he gave me OxyContin, you know, one of these blooming narcotic-y things. So Linda went and got down the prescriptions today, pardon me, and I said, just don't even bother picking that one up. I mean, I've got a little bit of pain. I took an Aleve this morning, and it hasn't bothered me. So anyway, thank you very much again for all the well wishes on that. So we're all done, hopefully. Right, so we'll come back to this. So I'm thinking this week and next week, probably to finish everything off, which is, as I mentioned the other day, finish off the prop stand, put a bracket on this, put brackets on the exhausts, make the bash plate and the various mountings for it, and a couple of brackets to go up under the tank, and then we can get stuck in and build the engine. Oh, I must check up on the availability of the alloy barrel. And of course, I'm still not happy about where this front wheel is. I've been looking, I was looking at some Yamaha DT type yokes, because I found a pair that were quite cheap, but they're for 34mm stanchions, and these are 35mm. So if it doesn't work, we might even end up, I might go mad and we'll actually make up the yokes. Bottom one would be steel, because it's got to be, well, it doesn't have to be steel, it could have a big nut on the bottom, but I'd probably make it out of steel so I could weld the stem in, and the top one will make out of some alloy. But that is if the worst comes to the worst. So had a little bit more snow, it's cold, it's below freezing again during the day, so it's nice and warm in here. Let me get sorted, and I think we'll take the exhaust off, we'll do the mounting for the oil tank, then we'll do the mounting for the exhausts, then we'll do the prop stand, then we'll do the bash plate, because that's got to be, it's got to have a couple of pieces welded in and some little spacing pieces and stuff. So we'll get on with all that. So there's the mounting on this side. The one on the other side is actually up here. I had to get this to clear the oil pipes. So let me put the oil tank back on and then we'll work out where the bracket is going to go. Alright, so there's that put on there. So that will go on there like that. And onto there like thus. Now I had a comment about the way I'm going to do the vent here. I'm not happy about doing it at the top. But the comment was that why not cut some off the bottom of that and put it in there. Well, I can't really cut any off the bottom of this. I don't have a lot. It would really start to wobble. But I got thinking about it and I thought, yeah, but I could cut a piece out just to match up where the hole is. You know, all I've got to do is make sure when I put it in where the hole is. And then that way I'd still have all this way around here to go into that. Be able to bring it out the side. I'll bring it right out the bottom. See, there's only just enough room to cut a slot in that. I'll just put it in and take an end mill and go up to there. But I think that'll work. Anyway, let me bolt this on. So that's on there. Good and tight. I've got enough room to get the hoses on. We're not touching anywhere, so everything's fine. I did have a comment as well actually that I should rubber mount this. A couple of people mentioned this in the past. I don't know how many of these oil tanks I've made of various shapes in alloy. They've all been rigidly mounted to the frame. I've never had a breakage on any of them. Partly I think it's because I always put an L-shaped elbow on. I never do just sort of a butt joint where this piece is just up to there and welded on both sides. That gives it a lot more rigidity. But anyway, as I say, I've just never had one fracture, so I guess I'm alright. Okay, so what's next? Brackets for the exhaust. Alright, so today we're starting off with the exhaust. Now I've made a new piece for this. I tried to crimp the end up a little bit to give myself a little more space here, to give myself a little more space there, and I must have just filed off too much of the weld because the weld cracked. But anyway, I found some better tube and I've redone it. Because as per usual, I did one perfect weld all the way around here. I did a perfect weld all the way around till I got there, and then there must have been a bit of muck. Anyway, we'll deal with that. So that is now chopped up where it's going to be. Actually, I also had a comment about worrying that this was going to heat the oil up. Don't worry about things like that. There's a nice air gap. Most of the oil is over to the other side. It'll be fine. So the first thing we're going to do is, and I've lost it again, took me ages to find my last little bit of stainless steel flat. We're going to, yes, you can see that. We're going to make a bracket, as the normal BSAs are, from the engine mounting bolt up to there, and then we're going to make a bracket somewhere at this back end. Actually, now I've got this nice solid, because this is thicker walled, I might put it on there, somewhere like that, just to hold that end. So let me make up a little cardboard piece, because it's got to have a hole in, it's got to be bent, it's got to have a slight twist in it to catch up with the curve on the back there. Well, I was going to show you the cardboard template I just made, but it's vanished. So anyway, from the cardboard template, I bent up this piece, started with a hole. I've also put a little curve in that to go on there. So that's going to go on there like that. And I was going to say I've lost my nut that I just got for it. There we are, everything touching where it should be. So let me weld that on there. Nothing's touching anywhere. That's still got its nice gap. Okay, let me weld that up. Well, I don't know what the hell happened there, but look at that. I barely touched it and it blew this bloody great big hole in. And I only had it set at 60 amps. And this obviously is 1/8 inch, and that's 60, over 60 thou, and I was on this. I had to put, I've gone right down to about 30 and I put it on pulse just to get it to tack. So now I'll have to very carefully pulse my way around that, build it up and sand it out. I couldn't believe that. I just to say struck it up, and before I could do anything, boomf! Bugger! Well, it looks like I've got a problem with my welder. See, I've got that set at 82. Let me start this going and we'll see the amperage it's actually running at. What was that, 17? I think I had this happen once before. Was it a loose? I can't remember what it was, and then it just cured itself. Alright, let me look into that. We'll come to a real standstill if that's the case. I guess I'd have to move on to the engine. Hang on. Well, I just set it on AC and it worked perfectly. Then I switched it back to DC, and watch this. %, higher than it should be. No wonder it blew a hole before. So, I'll phone HTP. See what they say. Okay. Right, I've spoken to Invertig technical support. So watch this. Apparently it's a glitch which occasionally happens. What it was I started out this morning doing AC, and then while I was getting everything else ready, I left the welder for about an hour on AC. When I switched over to DC, that's when it all went haywire. So he said switch the welder off and let it reset, switched it back on, and it's working. So that's good. Alright, let me see if I can fix this and fill this hole. Alright, so hang on, let me turn that light off. There we go. Hole's gone. It needs tidying up a little bit. So let me put this on the bike. Alright, there's that on there. Now then, I think I'm going to put a bracket here. The only other place I can put one is in there, and it'd be really difficult to get to. So we've got a gap there, we've got our gap, nice big gap behind there actually. It's not touching anywhere. So just about. And that's a 1/4 inch thick, so that's a good gap. Alright, let me think about the bracket for there. Almost carried on there without showing you what I was doing. So I'm going to put it on this one. So I've made up a little knee, a clamp, so let me bronze that and then we'll make up a piece to go onto there. And that I think will be alright out there. I like to have them a bit closer in normally, but well, if it breaks we'll make another one. So I bronzed that on there, and then I found a little piece of alloy, so I put that behind, marked it and drilled it, so that's going to go on there like that. Okay. Alright, there's that on there. It's going to go in there like so. Where have you gone? Where have you gone? There it is. That blooming bit of thing with the stainless steel there really annoyed me, blowing that hole in that pipe. At least it's nice to know it wasn't my fault. Nice. And we've still got our gap there. Nice big gap there, gap there, gap there. That doesn't look too bad, does it? Very good. Okay, that's enough for today. We'll see you tomorrow. I think we'll do the bash plate tomorrow. Alright people, welcome to a cold and snowy Thursday in upstate New York. Right, bash plate. So, I've put the sump on here because we've got to go below the sump obviously. These are there's 4 studs in it, and I've got a feeling they're probably going to be BSW into the casing. The BSC/BSF. I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, but the couple of suppliers I've come across for British threads, they always have 1/4 inch as BSC/BSF because they're both 26 threads per inch, but of course BSC is a 60-degree angle, BSF is a 55-degree angle, so they're not really in the chip, but they go on because none of them are made to close enough tolerances. Alright, what I would like to do there, because these stick out, not so much that one, but these back ones stick out a lot more. With the B25s, they are I can't remember what thread they've got, but they're a standard thread. It's 1/4 inch. It might be UNC, I can't remember. But anyway, no, I think it's UNF actually. I can use the little mushroom headed things which really make it slim it down at the bottom. Here I can't. So anyway, on the bash plates that you would get on the BSAs, like the Victor Specials and stuff, because the sump sticks out below the frame, the bash plate always has a little piece of about, I don't know, 1/2 inch wide flat in a little hump welded on as supports against here. So what we're going to do is make our alloy skid plate, and like I did for the B50, I'm going to add some alloy pieces in to come up against here to add the support there to protect the sump. So first of all, we've got to make a piece to go across here. That'll be our front mounting, and then it'll come down, go under here and go back up, and we'll put some rear mountings in, and then we'll put some little sides to protect the cases. Alright, so let me get some flat. So I've cut a piece of 1/8 inch flat which will go on there like that. I've drilled a couple of 1/4 inch holes, so what I'm going to do now is just bronze on a couple of nuts on the back so that the plate will bolt to that, the bash plate will bolt to that. So let me do that. Alright, so that's on there, got a couple of clamps on, so let me get some bronze on that, and then we can start bending some alloy. Alright, so that's that bronzed on both sides, and it's just at the right angle to miss that. So it's going to come down here, and then we'll put a curve in it along the bottom. So at the bottom it needs to be what? About 7 inches. And up here it's going to be 5. So we need to get some 3/16 alloy. It wants to be about 14 inches long. So let me go and see if I've got a piece that'll suit. So actually I had a nice big sheet of bulk of a 2x2 sheet of 3/16 left. So just put that out of the way. I'm going to use that to hold it up when we get closer. So let's see. That's going to go to there. The first bend wants to be, where's my pen going? That's it. I'm going to mark some lines across here and then do a little bit of bend, 3 or 4 of them, to actually get it to curve. So let me get the square and we'll do that. So I've marked them. Let me go and start bending them. I can't remember whether I can bend this without annealing it, because it takes ages to anneal something this thick, but let me go and check. Yes, this bends. I think it was the 1/4 inch that I used for like the Triumph, where there was no bottom rails. So we do a little bit. Move it to the next line. Still a bit. And as I mentioned before, you need to get this square, or what tends to happen is it twists from corner to corner. If it was a ship, we'd say it was racking. Right. Let's go and try that. Okay. That's pretty good. Gotta make sure I've got clearance for this oil pipe as well, so I maybe should put that on. So I've got a clamp on it at the front and it all lined up where it should be. I'm about there. Everything clears, and even at the lowest bit, don't forget the front forks are down a little. I've got 12 inches of ground clearance. I've got the straps on so the front's pulled down, so I've probably got near a 12.5. Yeah, they're tight. So that's going to give me a good 10 inches probably, even when I'm up on it. Stand still. Alright, so as I say, now what I'm going to do is make a little piece to go in here. Actually, I could probably put it here where it's nice and flat, just to hold that. Might put a piece of rubber in there. This was, I'd sort of get that, and then when I put a bit of bend in here, because of the way it fits in the press, it would unbend that a little. So I've been backwards and forwards, me just get that down a little bit there. Take a tiniest piece out of, just bring that down a little bit. Actually, I could maybe do it up here, just bring it down just a fraction. Get that nice and level there like that. And I've put the oil pipes on. Everything fits in, nothing's going to catch. Then, as I say, we'll shape this and then put a little piece here. But now it's lunchtime. Alright, so I've finished fiddling with it. I even drilled the holes in the right place, bolted it on. So we'll shape this a little bit, and as I say, we'll put some sides on just to protect that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these just work out nicely. I'm going to make the rear mountings to go on there. So I'll just cut a couple of pieces of alloy that go there, weld them on there nicely. That'll be fine for that. And then cut a couple of little pieces to go in here to give that a bit of support. So I think I'll do these first. So there's this side done. These have got to be welded on the inside. So there's our mounting bracket, and there's our little piece put in there just to take any big bumps so they don't bash up against that. So actually, while all this was cooling down, I've done the other one of these on the other side, so I just have to cut that and fit that in there, and then we can start doing the side protectors. But it's getting on, it's 4:30. I'll get this other thing done today, and then we'll see what we can get done on Saturday. Alright, it is Saturday morning, it's snowing. It's been snowing for quite a while. I'm definitely going to have to get up on the tractor tomorrow. A couple of things to tell you. First of all, I was doing the video yesterday and I realised that where I had the camera standing must have been right where the heating was blowing, because you were getting the equivalent of windrow. Sorry about that. Anyway, the other thing is I was sort of tidying up a bit, putting stuff away, and I was thinking about this, and I realised when I was looking at it, I'd been measuring various yokes, that the BSA yokes I had that I'd got out and were looking at were for the C15 I did. So they were actually closer together and what have you. So when I looked at a pair of B44 yokes, I thought, I think these will do. I can just modify the bottom yoke a little bit and it'll fit. So that, but then I thought, wait a minute, and I measured the fork angle, and it's actually 23.8 as the bike just stands like that loosely. 23.8, because this thing has only got, actually you won't believe this, you won't believe this, I've lost it, excuse me. Just out of interest, I measured the wheelbase, because I haven't measured the wheelbase for a while. It's just over 49 inches. And then I thought, I know what I can do with the front forks. Saved me lots and lots of work. I'll put the extensions back in. The extensions are 1 inch. I think it takes the forks out to 25 degrees, which is fine. And it'll probably give me what I need there, and I don't have to do any work. So we'll do that. So that was looking pretty good. So then we had a really good piece of luck. I phoned Peter Quick at BSA Unit Singles just to see if he had any news about the B40 alloy barrels he'd got cast up and was waiting for them to be machined and nickel-sealed. And it turned out that he had just been contacted by one of his customers who had bought a barrel in the last batch that he'd had made. And this chap phoned him up and said, look, I'm never going to get this B40 project finished. Do you want to buy the parts back? So Peter thought, I've got a customer for that alloy barrel. So I've got an alloy barrel coming. Well, I've got to order it today over this weekend. But I thought I was going to have to wait forever. I was wondering about putting this on, and well, as you know, we mentioned it. So I can order the alloy barrel, which he's got, and a piston, 8-to-1. He has 8-to-1 pistons, so that'll be fine. So we can do our last little jobs and then get stuck in and build the engine. Alright, so what are we going to do today? Well, today I think we'll be able to get done today. We're going to finish off this bash plate, as I said, just build the little bits around each side and do the inside welding. And then next week we'll do the forks. Let's think. We'll put the extra bits in the forks. I've got to make up some things to go in here for the fork gaiters to fasten on, because normally they would go on the little extension of the headlamp mountings. So we'll make up a couple of cup things to go there for them, and rear brake cable bits and pieces. So anyway, let me stop waffling and we'll get on with this bash plate. So as always, we'll start with good old piece of cardboard. I've sort of cut it to fit into there, then it's going to go across at an angle. I've just marked in there, so let me take this off. So it's going to go in like that. A little bit of curve in it to make it look nice, and that'll just be fine. The idea isn't so much to sort of cover this as just anything coming at the side, it'll hit that and sort of bounces off it. And I'll be honest with you, I've started doing these, I did it with the Enfields and the last BSA, but for years I've just had flat bash plates like that, and I have never damaged a crankcase, either an outer cover on this side or the chain case that sticks out on the other side. Perhaps it's just the way I ride, I don't go bashing it into things, but anyway, it just makes the front look nice. So let me go and cut that off, and while I've got this off I might as well weld up the insides and cut this piece of alloy. Well, I've just done one of those things you should never ever do. I was just finishing off, getting things ready on the other side, and I thought, you know, that's just not quite right. Let me just tweak it the least little bit, and now this bloody thing won't fit. So I've had to cut the mountings off the back, and I should have left well enough alone, shouldn't I? So I don't know what we'll get finished today. Let me get this back to where we were about an hour and a half ago. Alright, so we're back to where we were. Got these on the back. I might put a couple of little knees on those to give them a bit more strength. But anyway, everything is more or less where it was. Good enough. We're not going to try and tweak it again. So now I've got to start and put some bends in this. We've got to sort of make it radiate. So what we're going to do, see, that fits. That goes in there like that. So what we're going to start and do, put some bends in that go outwards like that to bring it round and sort of in a little bit. You'll see as I start to do it. Well, hopefully you will. Okay? Well, this is absolutely driving me mad. I've got it to fit beautifully there, but I can't get it to come in. But I've cut a little bit too much off the bottom. I know I have, getting this to fit, but I can't get it to just, every time I make a bend here at the bottom to bring that in, it goes miles out, and I straighten it out, and then alright, I managed. So let's hope I've cleaned this up enough so that it'll hold in place while I tack both ends, and then we can weld it up. So there's that side done. That was a bugger. So now, as I say, we've just got something that'll just, I mean, it's not, it could have been more curved actually. I didn't realise I'd made it quite as angular there. But it'll be fine. as I say, I'm thinking I'm going to be the one riding this, and I am not doing anything exciting on it. It's more if things fall over or just the odd little bit of a bump. Yeah, that could have been more rounded there. Should have made the base part narrower at the front so it curved in a bit more. But it's been such a bugger, I'm not going to start redoing it. That will protect everything nicely. Alright, well that's as much as I want to do this week. So until next week, when I'll do the other side and we'll do the little jobs and hopefully get them all done next week. Until then, you stay safe and enjoy yourselves.